రోజులో ఫస్ట్ లెసన్ చూద్దాము. ఆఫ్ స్టడీస్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, these lines are taken from the essay of studies. Second point, it is written by Francis Bacon. Third point, he is one of the most important writers in English. Fourth point, he is considered the father of essay writing. Fifth point, his language is simple and straight. Last and sixth point, he was born in the 16th century in England. ప్రోజ్లో సెకండ్ లెసన్ ద సీక్రెట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్. ద సీక్రెట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ చూద్దాం ఇప్పుడు. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, దీస్ లైన్స్ ఆర్ టేకెన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద లెసన్ ద సీక్రెట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్. సెకండ్ పాయింట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ రిటన్ బై స్వామి వివేకానంద. థర్డ్ పాయింట్, he was one of the greatest sons of Mother India. Fourth point, he was a strict follower of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Next point, he left his own unique mark at the Parliament of the World Religions in Chicago in the year 1893. రోజులో థర్డ్ లెసన్ చూద్దాము. థర్డ్ లెసన్ వచ్చేసి జేసీ బోస్. జేసీ బోస్కి ఇంట్రొడక్షన్. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, these lines are taken from the essay J.C. Bose by Aldous Huxley. Second point, he was a well-known English writer and philosopher. Third point, he studied English literature in England and wrote 50 books. Fourth point, the remarkable thing was he was nominated 7 times for the Nobel Prize in Literature. ఇప్పుడు ప్రోజ్లో ఫోర్త్ లెసన్, ఇన్ సెలబ్రేషన్ ఆఫ్ బీయింగ్ అలైవ్. ఇన్ సెలబ్రేషన్ ఆఫ్ బీయింగ్ అలైవ్కి ఇంట్రొడక్షన్. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, దీస్ లైన్స్ ఆర్ టేకెన్ ఫ్రమ్ ది లెసన్ ఇన్ సెలబ్రేషన్ ఆఫ్ బీయింగ్ అలైవ్. సెకండ్ పాయింట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ రిటన్ బై డాక్టర్ క్రిస్టియాన్ బర్నార్డ్. థర్డ్ పాయింట్, he was a South African heart surgeon. Fourth point, he successfully conducted the first human heart transplantation. Last point, he explained how suffering can make people better. ఆ ప్రోజ్లో క్లాస్ లెసన్ లెర్నింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద వెస్ట్. లెర్నింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద వెస్ట్లో ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ చూద్దాం. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, దీస్ లైన్స్ ఆర్ టేకెన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద లెసన్ లెర్నింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద వెస్ట్. సెకండ్ పాయింట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ స్పీచ్ బై ఎన్ఆర్ నారాయణమూర్తి. థర్డ్ పాయింట్, he is one of the founders of Infosys, which is one of the leading Indian software companies. Fifth point, the present lesson is his speech when he received the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award in Delhi. Poetryలో ఫస్ట్ లెసన్, on his having arrived at the age of 23. Introduction. First point, these lines are taken from the poem on his having arrived at the age of 23. Second point, it is written by John Milton. Third point, he was one of the very important poets in English literature. Fourth point, in the present poem, he expresses his dissatisfaction with the growth of his mental abilities. The second lesson in poetry is the tables turned. The tables turned introduction. First point, these lines are taken from the poem The Tables Turned. Second point, it is written by the romantic poet William Wordsworth. Third point, he is one of the most important poets in English literature. Fourth point, he is a great devotee of nature. Fifth point, tables turned means change the situation for better result. Sixth point, the poet asks his friend to go into nature to learn greater things. Poetryలో third one, the builders. The builders introduction. First line, these lines are taken from the poem The Builders. Second point, it is written by H.W. Longfellow. Third point, he is one of the well-noted American English poets. Fourth point, he was a poet and educator. Fifth point, the present poem deals with the contribution of humans for the progression of the world in manifold fields. The poetryలో fourth one, Any Woman. Any Woman introduction. First point, these lines are taken from the poem Any Woman. Second point, it is written by Katharine. Third point, she was a poet and novelist. Fourth point, the present poem, Any Woman, clearly explains the role of any woman in any house. Fifth point, thus, the poem undoubtedly gets the credit of universality. Poetry, last one, a challenge to fate. A challenge to fate key introduction, first point. These lines are taken from the poem A Challenge to Fate. Second point, it is written by Sarojini Naidu. Third point, she is one of the very prominent and important Indian poets in Indian English. Fourth point, she was a poet, freedom fighter, and able administrator. Fifth point, she is called the Nightingale of India. Sixth point, she is a great gift to Indian poetry in English. Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It is written by Mark Twain. Mark Twain lived in the delta of Mississippi River, and so almost all his novels have that background. The adventures of Tom Sawyer, we can hear and see everything through the ears and eyes of a child. The main character is Tom Sawyer, who was a great admirer of adventures.